Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi and this is Comment Time 25. Today we're talking about, well, a little about pedals, but mostly a lot about teles. Hit subscribe and ring the notification bell if you enjoy my videos, and check out the description box if you want to know any gear that I'm using. If you want timestamps, if you want anything like additional infos, you'll find everything in there. Let's get into the first comment, which is from Motion Push. Thank you, Kris. One of the best teles I've heard. We're talking about this lady. I'm also looking to custom shop tele purchase. Since you've tried so many different types, could you please suggest pickups that sound the least twangy? Ooh. The ones with the RSD bridge look intriguing. Nothing against country music, just not my venue. Thank you. That's a really interesting one, actually, because my initial thought is that a tele is just as twangy as you make it sound twangy. For example, this guitar. It is as traditional as a tele can get. You know, early 50s Blackguard pickups and everything about it. This guitar is not at all twangy if I play rock on it or blues or funk or anything else than twangy country stuff. Even though, as told, it's not like a stacked humbucker or nothing in there that makes it less twangy than a tele would be, like normally. So, it really just depends on how you play the guitar and what kind of rig you're running. I mean, if I plug this guitar into a cool compressor and an AC30 or whatever, I can get really close to, I don't know, Brad Paisley or something like that. So it can do that. But if I play my regular stuff and plug into, I don't know, the Toxic Twins or King of Tone and set it up for a medium gain rock tone, zero twanginess about it. It still sounds like a tele, but not like a country guitar, if you know what I mean. Of course, if you want to go even further away from like a traditional tele vibe and tele tone, you can get pickups that are hotter. That's all you actually need, because as soon as you increase the output, the jingliness and that low end, that kind of gets more in the background, and the mid-range jumps out even more, which will make it, the guitar, sound more like if it had like P90s in a way, or closer to P90s, which is definitely very far away from the traditional tele sound. Okay, some more tele love. This is from AirScorp. Kris, question about balancing tele pickups. I have a Squier Classic Vibe tele. I really like the output difference between the pickups, so when I go from neck to bridge, I get that rocky oomph. However, I find myself wanting to roll half the tone when I'm on the bridge. That's a very important piece of information. We'll get back to it. How could I get a better tonal balance? Maybe bring the neck pickup up and lower the bridge a little? Alternatively, thinking about investing in a more broadcastery bridge pickup. Maybe I'm thinking this the wrong way, to want to get that oomph from just switching pickups, and it would serve me more to boost with a pedal with darker tone. What is a good pedal to boost a bridge tele pickup to humbucker territory? Oh man, it's a lot of things in there. So first of all, If you want more balance between the pickups, you will have to lower the bridge pickup and raise the neck pickup a little, at least a little. And as soon as you find that balance nice, and especially you find the bridge pickup way less pokey, which is going to happen if you lower it. As soon as you have that and that balance works and the EQ, like the tone of both pickups work, then grab a clon style pedal. That's I mean, there are many ways of doing this, grab an EQ pedal, etc. That's gonna work, of course. But if you want something that pushes the pickup in a way that it just sounds more rock focused, clon style pedals, man, so damn good. Like, for example, the Archer, I can tell how I would set an Archer by heart because I've used one, the J-Rocket Archer I'm talking about. I've used one for years, and I know exactly how to set it up to do exactly what you described. So you lower the bridge pickup a little, and then that kind of oomph and that kind of mid-range and almost humbucker-esque kind of tone, what you want to get, is going to happen if you turn on an Archer or another clon style pedal. Keep the gain fairly low, like around 9 o'clock setting, something like that, where it starts to push the mids, but doesn't really start to show its hard clipping character, right? And then play with the volume, set it up to where it pushes enough for your taste, and then you still have the treble knob, which is the mightiest of all. It's so cool because with that you can still decide on how much sparkle you want to have on that pushed rock tone. So damn powerful. Just the best tool for single coil guitars to push the mids a bit more, to raise the output of the guitar or that tone or that whatever pickup you're planning to boost. So damn good. And that I think you will love. All right, let's do a German comment. I'll translate it, don't worry. It's from André Thyssen. Hi Kris, danke für deinen Content. Ich feiere deine YouTube-Videos. Du hast gerade was zum Overdrive Pedals Stacken gepostet. Ich habe auch das Toxic Twins Pedal und finde den Sound ganz gut, aber mir erscheint das Pedal etwas leiser. Vielleicht hast du mal ein Video, my German, dude. Vielleicht hast du mal ein Video zur sinnvollen Reihenfolge von Pedals. Würde mich jedenfalls interessieren. Schönen Tag noch. Andre is asking about, first of all, why his Toxic Twins pedal seems to be a bit too quiet, like if the volume reserve wasn't quite enough. And the second, thing he sort of mentioned was the order of pedals, like how I would recommend putting pedals in which order, etc. I actually have a video on that subject, so I'll put that link right there. You can check that out, which is about order and stacking pedals and all those things. About the volume reserves of the Toxic Twins or any other pedal, especially ones that don't have a ridiculous amount of volume on tap. Some will have, like an Archer, like a clon style pedal will have a humongous amount of volume reserved, so you will never be able to crank those pedals unless, I don't know, something extreme is happening. But for those normal pedals with a normal amount of volume, you, depending on the compression that's happening in your rig, which is, I'm not talking about a compressor pedal, I'm talking about the amp or the amp simulation that you're using, is going to heavily influence the amount of volume you need to set up on your pedal. So, for example, the Toxic Twins. I usually have the volume about, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. Sometimes I have to gun it, or almost put it on 10, and sometimes I can barely put it up to 12 o'clock, like 11 o'clock or something like that. And it's the same pedal. It just depends on how loud the amp is set, especially when we're talking about real nice amps tube amps that have a certain amount of headroom, a certain amount of compression happening, depending on how much you turn up and how close you are to that edge of breakup, where it starts to get a little hairy, a little distorted. That has such a huge impact on the way you want to set the volume on the pedal that's in front of that amp. So the fact that you have to crank the pedal completely or almost completely and kind of worried about the volume, like where's unity volume on the pedal, you don't really have any reserves. That's probably because of how you set your amp. And since we were talking about pedals, here's one more that's kind of related. It's about amps, but bear with me. It's from David Matei. Hey dude. Hey Kris, great video. Thanks for the input about YouTube videos. I'm in the process of changing my sound and only getting my sounds done with pedals, like you and Paul Gilbert do. Wow, that's a good sentence to be in, right next to Paul Gilbert. What a god, oh my god. I'm currently looking for a pedal-friendly amp. The wattage doesn't matter because I'll play it through the UA aux box, which is a power attenuator and a power soak, and can give you a line level cabinet and mic simulation with which you can get like a nice headphone sound or use normal monitors to listen to it. So volume is not an issue with that anymore. So far I have 2 amps to choose from. One, the Marshall SV20, which is the 20 watt Plexi, like the smaller scale down Plexi, and the Blackstar St. James EL34 head or combo. Do you know any other good amps, and which of them would you recommend? Many thanks for your response, David. Dude, those are great amps. Clearly, I use both in the Thomann studio a lot, and I really like them. But honestly, if you want to make sure that the amp you're getting will work with every single fuzz and overdrive pedal, and get the well, my Rev, that one, the white one, the Rev Dynamis 740, or its smaller version, the D20, the Rev D20. The thing is that these are obviously not the only killer pedal friendly amps. There are so many others, and everyone will have a different opinion on this. But I like, if you like the tones I'm getting here or on the Thomann channel, there's a reason for me to stick to these amps. I like all kinds of amps, but as you said, I like getting my saturation, my gain tones from pedals, and these are my go-to amps for a very good reason. They just always work. And of course, as told, there are other very pedal-friendly amps. I just don't know all of them so well. So these are my clear recommendations because I know them. The 20 watt Plexi is really cool with a lot of pedals, but it has a very strong character that kind of overrides the EQ of those drive pedals. That Marshall loves fuzzes, so if you're mainly into fuzzes, oh yes. But if you're like, you want to get like a blues breaker kind of drive tone, then a Rat, then I don't know, this and that, the 20 watt Plexi is gonna color those drive pedals quite a bit. Some will be awesome, some will sound too EQ'd, like, you know, having two characters sitting on top of each other, the pedals character and then the Plexis, might be a little overwhelming. And about the Blackstar, the St. James, real short, it's an amazing sounding amp. I love its clean and crunchy sounds for sure. It takes pedals really well. Some drive pedals that have like a really open sound might get a little sizzly on top, like fizzy on top with that amp. Again, that might be exactly what you want. To me, that felt like a little too much, so I'm kind of careful with which drive pedal I put in front of the St. James, but as told, it's also a really nice amp, so yeah, you cannot really go wrong. let's get back to this guy. This one is from Hobby Dad. I'm with you on the general versatility of the Tele. I don't actually own one, but it's on my radar to get, which is what drew me to this video. However, there are so many different models of Teles, and with that, so many varieties of pickups. There are the new VMod Noiseless version 1, the VMod version 2, there's an Anico 2, Anico 3, Anico 5, etc. All with different names from 50s single coil to vintage Tele to custom shop 5051 to even vintage noiseless, which seems like an oxymoron to me, like jumbo shrimp. There are, of course, a ton of aftermarket ones you can buy, such as DiMarzio, etc., to replace the stock pickups if desired. So all that said, what is the one stock configuration with pickups specified to actually rule them all? Thanks. I know exactly what you mean, man. If I have to recommend a Tele that is exactly what I would take, it would be this exact model, which is like a 50 to 54 reissue custom shop with these Telecaster pickups. But I mean, that's quite a price tag attached to such a guitar, and it's not really necessary if you are willing to fool around with pickups, swap parts, etc. Honestly, all American models have super nice pickups and hardware and everything. So the most affordable American model right now is already so damn good. Even the Vinteras, the Mexican-made Fender Vintera Teles, are super cool. And there's one with custom shop pickups with a twisted Tele neck, I think, and whatever, like a Blackguard kind of bridge pickup. Those guitars are so damn good, like really, really good. So I think I'd choose one of those. Or, of course, the American Professional 2, which has the VMod pickups, which are fantastic again. So don't get crazy about all the specs and everything. Check out a couple of models, like watch a few videos where you find most videos awesome of a specific model, whether it's the Vintera or the American Professional 2 or the Performer or whichever. If you find one where everything sounds and looks fine, and maybe you even have the luxury of going to the store and checking the necks out and everything, just grab one of those. Honestly, I mean, if money is not an issue, then get one of these, because you know it's going to be lightweight as well, and like has all the bells and whistles if you're into traditional Teles. But it's not really necessary if you want a really, really good guitar. And there's one more comment I really wanted to bring up here. I think it's really interesting. It's from Obsessive Compulsive. Let's all just take a minute to appreciate how much great music and entertainment we all enjoy through these type of videos. First of all, thank you so much. This came under my video where I talked about like guitar YouTube channels, you know, reviewing styles, and is it okay to get paid for reviews, and what's up with being objective, or are these just sales pitches, etc. So I put the video here in the corner. You can check it out if you're interested. Ignore the sales aspects, which is actually a very good advice. Let's talk about it in a sec. I am, however, still waiting on anyone, to give a negative review, besides on the Metal Zone. Well, that's the thing. You can actually just ignore the talking in these videos. Just listen to the sounds and decide if you like them or not, and that's it. If you want to hear the personal opinion of that person making the video, of course, check it out. But, you know, if you're not interested, just ignore it. About the negative review, I totally get it. There's just one big issue with negative reviews, and that's exactly why I included this comment in this video. It really depends on the negative review, because if it's just, hey, I think this sucks, I don't think it sounds good, I think it's just another whatever take on a blues breaker and it's boring and blah blah blah, if it's that kind of negative, that should not happen, in my opinion. Why? Because it's just your damn opinion. And I know people who would say, like, every second bluesbreaker pedal sounds exactly the same and so boring. Why do so many companies make their own take on a bluesbreaker? I do not know two bluesbreaker type pedals that sound even close to each other. There are so clear differences between these pedals. Let's say the Morning Glory by JHS, awesome pedal. The Pantheon by Wampler, great pedal. But they are so damn far from each other. I would never use those two pedals for the same song. I would go for this or for that, depending on if I want a more like softer, more mid-rangey, sort of sweeter sounding pedal, that would be the Morning Glory, or something that's a bit more rock focused, more low end, a very different presence and high end, less mid-range, that would be the Pantheon. So, and those are just two examples. I could go on and on about Tube Screamer type pedals and whatever. There's a reason for companies to bring out their stuff. Usually it's like they like the original design and they are like, yeah, but I hate the low end, or I don't like the way it compresses, or I don't like how it cleans up. So I'll do a very similar circuit that cleans up better or has more low end and all those things. So if someone says in a video or any sort of a media that he or she does not like that guitar or amp or pedal, will turn off people from even trying it out for themselves. This is just how it works. A positive reaction or positive review never really gets that kind of reaction from the viewers as a negative one. If you say like, this sucks, that will stick in the viewer's mind much more than if you say like, oh wow, that is inspiring. It's just human nature. We tend to pay more attention to someone not liking something. I guess it's some sort of I'm not a psychologist, of course, but I'm pretty sure it has to do something with our nature, because if anything is dangerous or should be avoided, that sticks more. So sort of I don't know, self-protecting instinct or whatever. That's the problem with negative reviews. If you don't like something about an otherwise really interesting piece of whatever gear, that is fair game. That should be said. Of course, that's why I always try to find something that I dislike about stuff that I review. Or even if I personally don't dislike, I try to put myself in the position of someone else who could definitely dislike something like the straightness of the armrest part of a Tele. Right? If I review a guitar that does not have an arm curve, whatever it's called, I will mention it, because that's something that I know people might not love, even though I do not have anything against it and I actually prefer it. But hey, I think you should always be aware of the responsibility of negativeness and find your best way of doing it. All right, thanks so much for sticking around, for checking out the videos, and thanks for all the comments and questions. Talking of which, meet you down there in the comments, leave your questions there, and see you next time in a new video. Bye.